back to my channel. I'm Nixara Realms. How is everybody? How y'all vibing? You know, it is the second week of school, of college, and I have already missed like 3 assignments, but it's all fine because I caught up to all of them. So far I'm not failing, so that's good. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about the books I read in August and also the books I want to read this month. But I am very loose with my TBR because sometimes I just don't stick to it. And I'm also going to cover the books I'm currently reading. So let's get started. I have read 4 books last month, and honestly they're pretty varied. So I started off the month with reading, well, sadly there was going to be a video on these 2 books where it's basically my TBR standoff. Like first episode where I was explaining my list of reads that I really want to get to and list of reads that I am intimidated into getting into, but sadly I didn't agree with the quality that I shot that video, so I decided not to actually post it, and that's why I have been on a 2-week hiatus, because I was supposed to upload that video 2 weeks ago, but because it was such a heavy video, it was over 2 hours long of editing, and also my editing software kept crashing on me, so I decided to hold off that upload that week and that I would upload it next week. And while I was editing, I decided that the quality of the video was so bad, I'm not gonna even present it to y'all. Some of you guys already know this because I did post on my Instagram, and if you're not following my Instagram, do follow. That is where I usually show what's going on more day to day compared to YouTube, where it's like you guys see me once a week. So if you want day to day, you could always follow me on there. So anyways, the first episode was a TBR standoff, and I got for the books that I was really excited to read, which was Lore by Alexandra Bracken. I gave this book 4 stars because I'm already forgetting this entire story. I really liked the main character. I liked the relationships that were presented. I didn't like that the male love interest seemed like their only character trait was to be the love interest of our main character. And the plot twist that they had towards the end, I didn't expect, because it involved a character that I really loved, and I loved all their stories and like the type of person that they should have represented. And in the end, they did represent that, but we don't know that until the end. And it was crazy. Gave it 4 stars because I loved the story, but I didn't love it enough to be 5 stars. And then for the books that I'm most intimidated to read, I got Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. And let me tell you about this book. I loved it so much. I ended up doing the full book through audiobook form, and oh my goodness, that was the right way to move, because honestly, I believe I am in a slump where it's like, it's really hard for me to get through books, and I think I'm slowly getting out of it now because I am doing a mix of physical books and also audiobook. But anyways, yeah, so I ended up giving this book a whopping 5 stars. Oh, it was so good. I love the story. I love the development. I love how they weaved the cafe into it. And I was honestly like, wow, amazing. Oh my god, spectacular. When I finished this, I wanted to reread it and also read the second book. And I think I did start the audiobook for the second book, and I got like 20% through it, but because I was also reading other books at the time, there was another hold, so I just returned it early so that person could read it because I wasn't using it. But anyways, yeah, so I gave this book 5 stars, and it's crazy because the goal of the TBR standoff, which you guys will see a new video of that, the TBR standoff is seeing which of the lists ended up being better. So obviously in this case it was Before the Coffee Gets Cold, because yes. Now after I finished those two books, I went straight into more books that I was more excited to read because I wanted to finish the series. And so I read after that Nick and Charlie, a Heartstopper novella. And I apologize if you hear any noise in the background. I do have a huge family, so gotta understand, you know? But anyways, yeah, so I read Nick and Charlie. I gave this a 5 stars because I loved Heartstopper. I love the Nick and Charlie. I love their relationship. I love everything they stand for. They're adorable. What I realized too late. And then our last book of this pile is Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Raybourn. This is also a part of another video that will not ever be released because the quality of the video was horrible. So this book I gave this book 4 stars because I loved everything that was going on. I loved the main characters, I loved the group, I loved the assassins. I just felt sometimes where it was like, I don't understand what's going on, because how did this connect to this, and why are you doing this to that person, and things like that. But I just kind of went with the flow. And still a great book. I do recommend this book if you want to get into a more like mystery type book and basically want to read about 4 assassin grannies, you know? Simple as that. If you want to read it, go ahead. They are assassins. They're 4 women in their 60s that are assassins. What more could you want? Now we're going to get into my September TBR, but it's very loose. So currently I am audiobooking Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong, So currently I am listening to the audiobook of Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong, which is the second book to These Violent Delights. The only thing that saved the book and landed it the 3 stars is the 2 secondary cast characters that were basically, that I believed were romantically involved. And they are the only 2 that saved the book for me, because they're the only ones I actually paid attention to, that I was like, oh my god, I see their tension, I see their love, why are they not together, why are they acting as if they're just brothers, you know? And just like very close friends, like, girl, I see. And because I wanted to find out what happens with them, I picked up the second book, which is Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong, and I am currently 46% through the book. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. We're getting so much more of those 2 relationships. I can't tell you, because you don't get to meet them or like their little story until like a little bit into the book. And I'm not sure if it's a spoiler, so I'd rather not say anything. Our main couple, Roma and Juliet, I'm loving their chemistry a lot more in the second book. It's just, I can't. It's just getting me so much more than in the first book. In the first book, I couldn't care less if they dropped dead the next page. Like, I could not care less.
Well. How the turntables.
Anyways, so that is what I'm currently reading. I'm also reading King of Pride by Anna Huang. Oh my goodness. I am eating this up. When they were sprinkling this relationship in the first book, oh my god. I was like, I don't care about this couple anymore. Give me the second book. And then when it came out, anyways, as you can tell, I really, really like this book. I'm enjoying it, you know? Currently on chapter 3, which is page 19. Young Kai's perspective. Oh my god. Next, these are all the books that I want to read in September, but currently I didn't start them. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we got These Violent Delights by Mika Nemerrever. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that so wrong. Oh my god, I'm sorry. So I did just say that I read These Violent Delights, but that was by These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, and I gave that book 3 stars. But this book is completely different. This book is about Paul and Julian. Paul is a person who is more submissive, sensitive type person, and then after he moves to Pittsburgh because of his father's death, as he's grieving and feeling all alone and isolated, he meets Julian. Paul sees Julian as if they are their equal, and then a friendship ensues. And eventually it leads discovering that Julian is more cruel and horrific in the way that they think. Paul decided they wanted to prove themselves in their friendship to Julian, and basically they devise a plan to basically find out to what lengths will their love get them. Toxic love. Who doesn't love toxic love? Fictional, where it can hurt nobody else but themselves in this fictional world, in their bubble, not in real life. Anyways, next I have The Setting Sun by Osamu Dazai. Because I loved No Longer Human so much, I decided to pick up another book of his. The next book I have is Fairy Tale by Stephen King. I'm not gonna lie to you, I do not expect to get this read this month. It is very chunky. Like, look at those pages. It's just, since this is a standalone, from what I know, please fact check me in the comments if I am wrong. But from what I know, this is a standalone, and it's crazy because this is about this kid that basically moves to a new town / city, to a new house basically, and then meets their neighbor that has this shed. And the reason why the shed is like interesting is because sometimes you hear noises that comes from this shed, but the neighbor doesn't let our main character Charlie to ever go into it. And then after Charlie just is doing some odd jobs for his neighbor passes away and basically leaves him a cassette tape saying, yeah, you know that shed? Yeah, it's a portal to a magical world. If I do read it, it would be my first ever Stephen King. And now we're down to our last 3. I have Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, The Only Survivors by Megan Miranda, and Stars and Smoke by Mary Lou. Respectfully, I'm not going to be talking about this book. I imagine you've already heard a lot about this book. It's been everywhere. Every YouTuber that does book content has covered it, so I won't be talking about it, but I do want to read it this month. Now, Stars and Smoke. This book I did start, and I am 68 pages through, but I do plan on trying to finish this either September or saving it for later in the year. And lastly, I have The Only Survivors by Megan Miranda. This book caught me with the synopsis. So basically, a horrible crash happens where many people died, and some of the victims decide to die on the anniversary of this accident, and due to that, the survivors that obviously survived decide to meet up every year on the anniversary of this tragedy and basically make sure that nobody commits die, and also to make sure everybody remembers. And then our main character on the 10th year anniversary decides she no longer wants to be part of this annual meetup, but she gets a text of an obituary where another survivor had died. She starts getting suspicion, and obviously she is also grieving because this person has basically met this person at least once a year, every single year, up until the 10th anniversary, and then they passed away. So basically we're trying to find out if they're getting killed by someone in the group or is someone targeting them. So obviously I wanted to read it. It sounds so interesting. Just like a quick wrap up, I have 6 books that I really want to read. Hopefully I get to this month. I have 2 books that I'm currently reading, as you guys know, King of Pride, and I'm also reading Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong, and I'm 46% through that. And of course, I read 4 books in the last month of August. I read Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Nick and Charlie, Lore, and Killers of a Certain Age. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope to see y'all next time.